Very good day to you all from a lovely sunny Pretoria. En ja, goeiemiddag aan almal en baie welkom. Please remember to action the like button, share on WhatsApp, Facebook and Twitter, and press the subscribe button and also press the notification buttons for the latest videos. Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about not wanted. We are not wanted. That's the topic today. So just to get our minds in sync and afresh with today's video, I just want to touch sides on the previous videos that were sent out. Rule number 1 was prayer. Rule number 2 was authority. Then we spoke about the family, and after that the association, why it's important to have an association, and then action to his call. And then, of course, following that was switch on and the two faces. So today I'm going to talk to you about not wanted. So before I start, I'm just going to have some water. Now what I've done is I've got this into five categories. Again, biblical times, which is short and sweet. Then I'll talk again about our history and the political platform, the judicial system, and of course the minority groups in summary. All right, lovely. So on the biblical times, a bit of self-study there. I'd like you to go and Google what happened in the days when the Israelites were in Egypt for background to this message today. Now, if we look at the history of South Africa in the concentration camps, we had 38,000 people that died, plus minus 38,000 Boer Afrikaner people, and hundreds of blacks that died in these concentration camps. And the reason for this was because there was no plan of any sorts by the then leaders. And this is exactly why the women and children had died, because there was no plan. So if we take a deduction here, it's very important to note and also to remember that back then, due to the people dying, they weren't wanted. The people were not wanted, and that's why they were put in concentration camps for whatever reason, to control this or that. But in the day, the people were not wanted, so they were put into concentration camps. Whether it was a tactic of war, it's irrelevant. They were not wanted. Then we can also go to farm murders in South Africa. Since 1994, 95% of white farmers were murdered. Also black farmers have been murdered, but the majority have been white farmers. We've had more than 3,000 farmers that were murdered, and this is on record. And you should all go and Google it and go to images and see the realities of what takes place in a farm murder. Okay, here the South African police services and government, they've had no plan or budget in this security aspect. But the government have a plan and a budget for the likes of BE and the removal of white minority capital. There's a budget for that. There's a plan for that, but there's no plan for farmers, farmer protection by the government. And this is why our farmers have died, because there was no plan, physical plan by government. What is the deduction here? The deduction that we can make is that the farmers are not wanted because there was no plan. Furthermore, if we go and look at riots, there's been many riots in South Africa, across the country. But I think the very important one that we can't and should not remember is what happened in July of 2021, last year. So if we focus on that, we know what happened there. It was in 3 days, KwaZulu-Natal was raked clean. Nothing left, no food, all the shops, Pick and Pay, bottle stores, macros, all emptied. So then we need to look at the South African Police Services and the South African Defence Force, intelligence services. They had no plan. This is the reality. There was no plan to keep the businesses and the people safe. These are the realities. You saw it. And if there was any form of intelligence, then why was it held back purposefully? And people's lives and businesses were put at risk. So it wasn't a priority. Yeah, so the whole GDP of KwaZulu-Natal has gone down the chute, and it's completely destroyed. Corporates like Massmart, Walmart had to sell 15 macros outlets to make up their losses. So if we look at the deduction here, we can see that the white monopoly capital must pay for the unemployed and the hungry, and that is what happened in KwaZulu. Again, not wanted. White monopoly capital, not wanted. Yes, you can look at it this way and you can look at it that way. But in the day, white monopoly capital suffered, wasn't wanted. It was raked. And the study used was to rake that province clean. And of course, then if we move further to racial matters, of late, it doesn't seem to go away at our schools and, of course, on the national sport like cricket. Over the last few months, we can see on national TV that government here for schools and for national sport, they have a plan and a budget to change it. There's quotas for teachers, children in their classrooms, and for sport coaches and players. Here, government has various commissions that have been appointed. They've got budgets, they've got mandates, and like we saw with Cricket South Africa. But government doesn't have a plan to unite South Africans. South African government, and when I talk about the government, I'm talking about the ruling party, they don't have a plan, and there's no budget to unite all South Africans, black, white, Indian, and colored. So what's the deduction here? Well, to create racial differences and issues at our schools and the like, and all the signals and signs you can pick up with your children that your children are not wanted at the schools. I mean, this is obvious, and they're put into storerooms. Whatever the excuse is, the reality is, the feeling you get is that your children are not wanted at the schools, and also on national sport, they've got issues with certain players and coaches, like we've seen with Cricket South Africa. I'm just wondering when rugby's going to get their turn. Okay, on the political platform, there's various public statements made by politicians on record, and all beknown to us that the whites must go back to Europe. One bullet, one settler. You've heard it before. Here, the government of the day remains unstable, and the political spectrum is corruption, money, and gun running, and the killing of various political leaders is the order of the day. We see in Gauteng that local government can't govern. The ANC and the EFF aren't allowing the coalition governments to govern, and this was mentioned in previous videos. It's there. Expropriation of land and many other means are going to be taken away from the whites. And what is the deduction here? Well, again, the political elite, they are busy with strategies to let us know that you're not wanted. So on the political platform, on the political space, it's publicly said that you're not wanted, whereby government should be having a strategy to unite all South Africans, black, white, Indian, and colored. And that's not the case. So we're polarized. Again, if you look at the judicial system in the last few days to the week, we see that the judges nominated are all black. There's no white judges. So the system has a standard for the black elite, and then, of course, there's a standard for the white and the very poor. And it's unfortunate. It shouldn't be like that. There should be a white, colored, and Indian judge also up for Chief Justice. So there should be fairness. There should be what they call that Rainbow Nation promoted as what Nelson Mandela wanted, but that's obviously not the case. So there's very many case scenarios on record, but our judicial system needs a total revamp and a relook at all appointments. What's the deduction here? Well, we can see that the judicial system favors the political elite, and the majority is keeping the minority groups and their constitutional rights away, and it's very, very clear that we're not wanted. So in summary, let's look at in summary on all those various platforms from biblical times as background or having background to political platform, to our histories, to the judicial system. What can we see here? Well, if we look at the facts, government has a detailed plan and detailed budgets for everything and more to remove your property and your wealth rights. Government has a detailed plan and budget to remove white monopoly capital, businesses, and initiatives, as we have heard from President Ramaphosa in May of 2020. Government has many plans and many budgets to change the schooling and the sporting culture and to further disadvantage the minority groups, as we've seen lately on TV and other media outlets. Okay, this is interesting. Government doesn't have a plan and budget to keep farmers and the people safe from crime and disorder. And why is that like that? That there's no plan for that. Government does not have a plan and budget to develop people in order to uplift the economy and to secure the future, but rather work on the grant system, the SASSA system. Government doesn't care about you to the extent that you don't know your left from your right. Government hasn't cemented plans which don't favor you or your children, but we all remain ignorant and we don't have a plan. People, we need a plan. So it's a very important decision to make, and it's something that you'll need to make quickly, but you need a plan. Yes, life continues as normal. We carry on with our work, but there has to be a plan in place. And again, I have to mention, this is why Suidland Verdediging, Southland Defense, is a national emergency plan, which can only cost you the same price as a burger, fries, and Coke. And I suggest you consider this seriously and join. So looking at all the facts that we presented and the talk that I've just put across to you is that you've got to sit with the situation and decide, are you wanted or are you not wanted? And obviously that decision you must make. I'm saying very clearly what I see on TV is that you're not wanted. And that's something that you need to accept. Right. Please follow the links below to join. Again, please share, like all possible platforms, subscribe, and press the notification button for new videos. I'm looking forward to talk to you all again soon. Stay well and be safe and stay sharp.